Live from New York, it's Tonight with Taco. Special guest, Manny. And now, for your host, the one, the only, Taco!
Thank you all. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Welcome back, everyone. As you already know, this is Tonight with Taco. Thanks so much for returning for yet another episode. Tonight is Friday, April 8th, 2022. Can you believe it? We're already on the penultimate episode of the first season of Tonight with Taco. It's been a long time coming. No, literally, it has been a long time coming. It's been eons since I've done an episode of Tonight. So I won't spend too much time like the previous episode discussing my absence, but I have been busy working on other shows, podcasts, and even an album. I'm happy to finally announce that my debut album titled The Red Room has finally dropped on March 31st and has received very positive reception. This personally is a project that has always been on my mind to complete, though I've never really gotten a chance to sit down, go through a bunch of beats, and start writing some serious lyrics. So I'd like to use this time to say thank you to those who were involved in cultivating this project to what it is today. That includes everyone who has been there while I've created the album, especially to Yo Flame and Apollo the Almighty for their excellent guest features on the songs Top Tier and Letting Sleeping Dogs Lie. I just wanted to do a little plug there. If you haven't listened to the album yet, you can go to the link below of this video, of course, to listen to the Red Room full album. That's going to be in the description, once again, of this video. It is about 22 minutes long, so if you have the time, of course, sit down, listen to the story of the album, and I'm definitely very excited for you to listen to it. After years of speculation on whether or not Robert Pattinson would be a good Bruce Wayne or Batman, the movie The Batman has finally dropped in theaters last month in March, right before my birthday. Though I did mention that there has been speculation for years on whether or not Pattinson would do a good job, I actually had little to no doubt in my mind. Some people might only see him as Edward Cullen from the Twilight series, but he's surely a top-tier actor and has really been great on very different movies, such as the film Good Time, directed by the Safdie brothers. I knew this film was going to be a great one, but oh man, I really wasn't for a treat. The 3-hour-long epic plays at a decent pace, never losing the audience attention throughout its 180 minutes of runtime. Colin Farrell, Zoe Kravitz, Robin Pattinson all did a great, fucking phenomenal job, honestly, at portraying their respective characters. But man, Paul Dano really knocked it out of the damn park. So in the scenes where he was speaking out to his cult following via live stream, the character Riddler was so focused and determined, I guess I would say, that I was kind of hoping he would break a serious rant at some point. Half the time I thought he was going to stop his rant and just say, "If you are justice, please do not lie." Oh, I forgot to mention Gotham Guy 69. Thank you so much for the resub at $5 dono. I appreciate it very much. In all seriousness, his performance as the Riddler was truly haunting. And if he does come back for a future sequel, I'd love that, of course. And I would say overall the movie would definitely get a 9.5 out of 10 from me. The Grammys took place this past weekend, and just like my second year of college, I never fails to disappoint. To be honest, I'm not so mad at the winners this year. Some of the winners I'm very happy about, of course. That would be like Doja Cat and SZA, who won for Best Pop Duo or Group Performance for their song Kiss Me More. Silk Sonic, of course, which is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. They won 4 awards, including Record of the Year and Song of the Year. Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, who won for Best Rap Performance for their song Family Ties. Tyler, the Creator, of course, who won Best Rap Album. Listen, I love me some Silk Sonic, Anderson .Paak, Bruno Mars, but did I really have to win all 4 of those awards? Probably, I guess so, but my issue is still that Lil Nas X was nominated in a couple of categories, and he didn't win a single Grammy this year. Not just those, but the award for Best Melodic Rap Performance went to Hurricane by Kanye, Lil Baby, and The Weeknd, over Industry Baby by Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow. Donna was a good album, but Hurricane was just not it for me. Industry Baby dominated radio, the charts, and received much acclaim from audiences everywhere. I guess you can't win them all, but at least Tyler won Best Rap Album. Who knows, maybe one day if I keep it going with the music, I could definitely be up there getting a Grammy myself one day. I just hope my clumsy ass doesn't slip and fall backwards into oblivion like Jason Derulo did that one time at the Met Gala. It's going to be a great show tonight. Manny is here in the building, everyone. Please stay seated and stay tuned. We'll be right back. My guest tonight is someone you probably know. He's very skilled at different games such as Smash Bros, Pokemon Showdown, and I even hear he plays Rainbow Six from time to time. A young but determined and driven individual, he's always ready to work on content for podcasts to tier lists. Don't you dare start that game of crab game without him. Ladies and gentlemen and people across the globe, Please welcome Manny. Manny, welcome to the show. How's it going? How are you?
I'm doing good, Taco.
Great to hear, man. Great to hear. So obviously, it's been a long time coming. I know that recently I've reached out to see if anybody's open to or willing to join tonight with Taco. Obviously, I'm always open to receiving new guests. I mean, maybe someone I haven't really thought of interviewing beforehand, but obviously, you've stepped up to the plate. You're once again, I do want to thank you so much on that that you're willing to speak with me, having this interview today. And yeah, I just wanted to go ahead first. I'll start with today, Manny. Just from what I've heard, right off the bat, from like even the introduction that I just gave to you, I've definitely noticed that you're definitely big into gaming. So you're definitely quite the proficient player apparently that I've heard at like Smash Bros. And obviously, I know that you have a competitive side to you from playing in like tournaments on Pokemon Showdown with you. Obviously, we've done that a few times, during like Apollo, the Almighty streams and such. Obviously, all in good fun. So I feel as if every, quote unquote gamer has a unique start when it comes to video games they play. So yeah, if you can't just tell me a little bit about that. Some of the like, what are some of the first games that you've like started playing or like remember playing when you were younger? Maybe anything that still sticks out now, or yeah, could you just tell me a little bit more about the like where did your whole I don't want to say gaming journey, but gaming gaming journey start? Because I even have like story myself. I remember this the first video game I've ever played, and obviously I mean things change over time, but yeah, just tell me a little bit more about that. Like what are some of the first games you remember playing, and what's the history with that?
So it was like when I was younger, I'm talking about like when I was like 4, 5. Those are like the first memories of when I actually started playing games. It was definitely a lot of the game. Like it makes it's funnily enough a lot of the games I still play today. Like I don't know which I played first, but it was definitely either Melee or Brawl that I played. Those were definitely one of the first games I played. Just remember, I don't remember because it's like I played one of them, but no, I played both of them when I was a kid because I'd go over. At my house, we'd have the Wii. I'd be playing Brawl with like my brother and my sister, and then I'd go to my grandparents' house. They had the GameCube in there. I just like I'd sleep on like the couch that like unfolds into a bed. I'd sit
Yeah.
there. I wake up. Those are the best. I haven't been there in so long, but yeah, a lot of Pokemon too. I definitely remember playing Pokemon Diamond and Pearl when I was like 5, and like it was like 2010. That like those are like still the hot games, even after like Platinum would come out or like would come out very soon. Heart Gold, Soul Silver was around that time as well, and a lot of like kind of like random games. I remember playing a lot of SmackDown versus Raw 2011 WWE game. And I was a big fan of that stuff when I was a kid. So of course I played that a lot. I played a lot of games, mainly about a lot of things that I used to watch. I definitely remember the Zuzu Pets. Those were things. I had the
Yeah.
game on Wii and on DS. I was a big Bakugan fan when I was a kid. I definitely have the game on Wii and on DS. It's a lot of like just like the thing that interested me, but it was mainly always because my brother also liked that stuff. Like he pretty much got me into gaming when I was super young, and it stuck. Like it makes sense that I also like a lot of things that he ended up that I ended up liking a lot of things that he still likes today.
Yeah, so that's definitely great. And also just to build on that. I know that you mentioned obviously your brother is a big part of that whole experience when you were growing up, and when it comes to games and everything like that. I'm trying to remember now, if there's anybody like that for me, because I only have like an older sister, but she never really played video games like that. But I just remember when I started playing video games. I think I was probably, I don't know, probably like 5 years old, I guess. The first game I had ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog 1, like the first one on the Sega Genesis. So that was like also my first
Mm.
console, the Sega Genesis. I probably still have it. I think it's in like my dad's garage or something. But Yeah, that's the first like console and game I've ever played and owned. I remember also I did have like a few of the actual like physical games that went with the Genesis. Like one of my favorite games. Yeah, I've even played this like even recently up until a few years ago. I played like Golden Axe. That's one of my favorite games as well. Now I feel like as time has like evolved, and I guess just when I like got like my like Xbox 360 for example on Christmas. I think it was like 2010. So I was like 12 or whatever. When the Black Ops 1 came out for Call of Duty Black Ops 1, that was like my first like I guess FPS, like first person shooter, and from then I kind of stuck to that genre more or less. Or I've played most recently like Apex Legends, like past few years. I was really into that when it first came out, and yeah, just more or less been playing games like that. Obviously, I know that you mentioned Pokemon. I've loved Pokemon since I was a kid as well. I still play it to this day. Of course, I put in the like 100 hours into like Arceus and like Brilliant Diamond. But that's besides the point. But yeah, I just wanted to see now just kind of as time has gone by, Manny. What are some of the things that you play specifically now when it comes to maybe like specific genres or maybe specific game series that you're really like fond of? It could be things that could be totally different from what you used to play when you were younger. But yeah, just give us an idea about that. Are you playing anything specific or new these days?
Funny thing is, I haven't played a lot of new games. Like I don't remember the last time I've actually bought a new game. It might be. I might have to check my Switch at like later because I actually
Hmm.
don't remember the last time I bought a game. Because I've been I'm like very easy to please with playing games. Like I've been playing Ultimate for 3 years now. I've had Rainbow Six for 3 years now. I played Pokemon. Well, I mean that's not the same because it was new installments every year or other year. But I still play that franchise all the time. It's like a lot of the things that I played I stuck with, honestly. And like especially like with games nowadays, I don't buy a lot, and like so I've stuck to playing a lot of the games that I have because I enjoy them. Like I get a lot of enjoyment out of playing the same game because like usually the games I like playing have like multiplayer, online aspects, or like things that you can just play them for a while. As long as you enjoy them, you'll get so much time that those kind of games a lot of the time.
I definitely feel like I fit in like that same kind of category or same kind of like mindset. Like I'm definitely very easy to please when it comes to like video games or I have like some friends that sometimes like they may like tease me when it comes to like I play every Call of Duty. It's just the same game every single year. Just I'm wasting my money, stuff like that. But I mean, even aside from the obviously the changes they make to each game, I feel like games that I've kind of always played or kind of just been so familiarized with. And it is easy, like you were saying, it is very easy to just go back to it and just have that natural physical like attraction to those types of games. You just are taken there, obviously, from whether it's like nostalgia, whether it's like being comfortable playing those types of games. So maybe you might not want to go ahead and play something that's entirely different. I know I'm definitely guilty of that. And but yeah, overall, I feel like even for my gaming tastes, once again, I've definitely stuck to like FPSs. But recently, since I've kind of went on like a little streaming stint, I guess the past year, I've definitely been into things like horror games or horror-esque games, maybe like suspenseful. So things like I love the Outlast series. Outlast one, two was okay. Two was fine. It wasn't that great. But I still enjoyed it. The DLC for Outlast 1 is definitely very good. Until Dawn, obviously, is definitely great. Some of my favorite games, like the Walking Dead series, where you have like choices and things like that. I definitely, go back to. And Manny, I also know that I also wanted to, get some of these questions in as well. Just knowing that you're, currently, obviously, you're a teenager, you're still going through school. So for somebody who may not, know you like, personally, or maybe like know you on like a, online person to person basis, what are some of your favorite things when it comes to like school, when it comes to like academics? Like, do you have like a specific passion for like a specific subject, or does anything at school specifically like pique your interest? Like you wake up in the morning, getting ready for school, you can't wait for this certain class or this certain part of the school day. So yeah, take us through that. Is there anything specifically you think maybe like that you prefer, or that like you're keen to when it comes to going like to school and things like that?
For me, it's honestly like not a lot of, because I feel like as school has kept going on, there's like the classes have always gotten more and more boring. But for me, the only one that's always stayed interesting is history, because like I find like I don't even really like history class. I just find history like, oh, I've always found history super interesting. So it's like not that I even like I like going to that class. Like I think my teachers are fun, but it's like it's still a boring class. But just learning about history, I've always liked it. So like even like I've always done really good in those classes because I like though that's like always like those are always the classes that I remember the most from, because it's stuff that like and it's always been like that ever since like I want to say since I was like at least in middle school. I've always like paid attention to like my history class, and maybe it was a mix of
Yeah.
like having like always having a lot of good teachers, because I almost had I never really had a bad history teacher. I think I liked all of them, but maybe that's why. But it's also just like it's a subject that really interests me, like knowing all these things about the past, knowing things about that happened recently, things before I was like born, things before I could like conceive conscious thought, things that are happening now. Not really things that are happening now. I don't keep up with a lot of things that are happening now, but like
Yeah.
mainly it's like things about the past. On those are like the really interesting stuff. That's why not even just like actual history, but like learning about like like the history of other things that interest me is always super interesting. Like
Yeah.
just learning about the past, I've always found super super like interesting and just like really cool to think about.
Yeah, that's definitely an area where we definitely are. I guess I would say our opinions align in that case, because I've always loved history. Obviously, the history that we do learn in high school, sometimes it can be, you know, I'm not sure if clouded, or I'm not sure what the right thing to say is, because at least for me, because I know each state has its own like different curriculums and such, but I just want to say that history, it's I feel like there's specifically something about um specifically something about like history, like not necessarily wanting to live through specific moments in history, but just the fact that specific things obviously that we know, that we learn, had happened. And it could range from something that's you know something that's like horrific or crazy, like war or anything like that. Like people, there were people like it's crazy to think there were people our age, who lived through that. Obviously, it's kind of crazy to think. I know, we have, currently, I know that you say you don't really focus or pay attention too much on everything like nowadays, but obviously, I'm sure you've heard like the whole like World War III thing, the thing with Russia right now, the whole conflict with Russia against Ukraine. It's even though the this country like hasn't necessarily done anything to kind of um, you know I guess intervene or anything that involves us specifically. It is just kind of crazy to think. So what if that were to happen? Obviously, I don't want to put that out in the world, but what if that were to happen, and we would have to live through that? So I'm just thinking, obviously, in the past, people have lived through World War One, World War Two, a bunch of like not necessarily just war, but in general, just a bunch of random times. And obviously, the U.S. has like a history of a bunch of stuff I won't even get into, because it's just there's a lot of bad shit happen in the history, but there's also really really good things, really inspiring things that have happened in the past. And I also agree when it comes to like the teachers. History teachers kind of just they're just pretty cool. I don't think I've ever had a bad history teacher, and my history teachers loved me. So I think that was that was great. Like the subject of history is probably my favorite. I would say if anything, something like maybe like my senior year, like a criminal justice class. I definitely love that as well. Anything like law related, or like history related, I definitely strive towards. But Manny, I did also want to mention. Obviously, I know you through being in the Almighty Army community, Apollo the Almighty's community, and yeah. So within your time in that specific community, and obviously, you're, I would even say, you're more or less like well known in that community since you definitely take a part in a lot of like the activities or a lot of the games or any type of event that happens within the community. I feel like you're definitely around there. So yeah, just with that being said, being part of this community and also any other communities that you may be a part of currently, how would you say that that has, or if it has at all, changed you, or maybe if you've learned any lessons by being part of these online communities and things like that, or maybe if an advice that somebody has told you online through one of these communities that has stuck with you. Yeah, just can you just elaborate on that a little bit? Maybe if anything has like stuck out when it comes to like lessons or anything that you have learned from being part of these big communities.
It's mainly the thing I've like. I don't know if I've learned. I'll probably get to that after, but like how being in these kind of communities has helped is mainly because I don't talk to a lot of people at school. Honestly, I'm usually just talking. I'm usually just either like keeping to myself or talking to my sister at like lunch or like in like the two classes I have her in. So being able to like get home or like just in like my free time, just talk to like my friends in this server or like anybody, any of my other friends, like any other servers,
Yeah.
it's like it's very helpful because it's like I don't have no friends. I have a lot of friends. I just, I can't see them face to face, but I still can still spend time with them and like hang out with them. And it's like it's been very very nice because we were talking about the other day like all this crazy shit that would have happened if the pandemic didn't happen. And I was like thinking, I'm like, it probably would have pushed me like if it didn't happen, I probably would have just kept being with like the friends I had with at the time, and like I didn't really like them. But if I kept being with them because I had nobody else to talk to online, because I never would have met, or I don't know if I would, I don't know if I never would have, but I don't know if I would have like been introduced to this community. Which funny story about that is like
Yeah.
I remember like randomly I was chilling one day and I didn't know this at the time, but Apollo had sent me a message like, hey, saying like, hey, there's a lot of good Smash players and you should join. And then I never responded to that. And like a few months passed, Eli wants me to get in to play Smash, and that's how it all started. And I remember Kazuya had come out, and Apollo had bought that for me, so he sent me like the money to buy it.
Oh shit.
And I remember when he did that, I remember going into the DM and seeing that he'd send me that. And I told him like, "Oh wait, that was you! Holy shit!" It was so crazy because I was like, "Wait, that was Apollo. That's like insane to me." But yeah, so it's like I don't know if this like if I would have been around here, and I'm glad I am because I met a lot of good people in the community, you included.
Appreciate that, Manny. But yeah, no, definitely likewise. We'll get to my next question. It kind of shows. Obviously, yeah, I do appreciate you, Manny. Obviously, I feel like there's definitely been, I guess limited times that like we have like spoken, whether it's like on a crab game or whether it's, we're in VC with other people. But obviously, Manny is out. You have always been like chill, so I do appreciate that and respect that about you. And yeah, so I I definitely agree. So when it does, when I definitely agree when you mentioned that you're not sure if you would have, been in this community had it not been for things like COVID. Um, I joined I started following his Apollo's Twitch first, Apollo the Almighty's Twitch. That was, I believe, maybe like the week before New Year's Eve. It was in December. It was like the week before New Year's Eve for 2020. And I had joined the Walking Dead streams. That's when he was streaming the Walking Dead, and I had joined the server. I believe it was December 31st, 2020. So obviously, since then it's just been history. I've had a lot. I've met obviously all these great people. On Discord through this community, and I've also met people in other communities just by people who were in this community but have like server of their own and such. Obviously branching out into other communities as well. And it just takes me back to that question that was asked earlier in the general chat in Discord. So I actually do want to ask you that question. So okay, so for the audience that's listening right now, the question that was presented is if there was a button that if you were to click the button or hit the button, everything like COVID would have never happened. So anything like from like let's just say March 2020 until March 2022, these past 2 years would have never happened. But obviously there would be no COVID, there would be no lockdowns, there would be none of that. So with that being said, obviously, you even mentioned, Manny, your life would definitely be different. You were hanging out with friends, maybe you weren't like necessarily super close with or super like fond of at the time. So we'll put it like that, Manny. Would you have pressed this hypothetical button? Would you press it?
That's that's a really hard question because like it all depends on it very much depends on the real world consequences. Not even just like how it would have affected me, but how it would have affected everyone else. Like that's like the
Yeah.
big thing for me. Because if it had it's still a very prominent issue now. So it's like I probably would not have, or I probably the button is just go back and not do COVID, right?
Yeah, so that basically, so the pandemic would have never happened. So with that being said, anything like relating to you doing something because the pandemic was in place. Let's just say you were in lockdown, right? Like those however many weeks or whatever different states had people in lockdown, and anything like you did during that time, for example, like join online communities or let's just say spoken to new people, watched like new videos, anything you did during that time would have never happened. And so obviously your life would be, it definitely would be, I would say most people's lives would have been at least at the very least 80% different, 85% different. Obviously, some things are inevitable that will definitely would have happened either way had there been a pandemic or not. But before you finish, continue your answer, I just wanted to give my answer. I would say no, just for the fact that I don't know. I'm just a very big like believer, or just I'm very big on when it comes to things like fate. And although I do believe obviously in fate, I do think you can change things in your future. Like nothing is specifically set in stone, but in this case, I feel like something as big as like a pandemic, definitely in regards to this would be set in stone. So I don't think you know for me personally anything changing that would like make well, I don't think it would change how things were. I'll just put it like that because I feel like personally right now, I think I would say I'm in one of my best places I've ever been mentally, I guess, in my entire life. And I don't think I can attribute that or I can say the same thing if there hadn't been a pandemic, just for the fact that, as I mentioned before, and you mentioned as well, Manny, I've met so many people like online, and many people I consider like friends online that I wouldn't have met. I don't think I definitely wouldn't have met otherwise if there wasn't something like a pandemic. So yeah, with that being said, I wouldn't push the button. What about you, Manny?
Yeah, it's like for me, it may it's like it definitely would have like you were talking about how like it would have changed a lot of people's life. Yeah, I think because I feel like if I had pressed that button, we would be back in 2020. I
Yeah,
would still be in like eighth grade. I'd be talking to a bunch of people who like I honestly talk to just because I like having people to talk to.
yeah,
There were like maybe three people I liked there. Like I actually enjoyed being with. Most of them I didn't really like. So it was like I would be constantly because the other thing is I don't know if I would have like during all this time I I would eventually end up moving, and now I live in a completely different place. That's another thing.
uh,
Like I'm living in a better spot. Like I have my own room with adequate space. I have a desk.
yeah,
I have my own bed. Like keep in mind, in my old house, I did or like where we used to live, I had a bed and two cabinets, like a big like kind of like cubicle thing where I'd put like most of my games and then my TV. There was no walking space in the room. I couldn't. You had to like shimmy around. It got even worse when I had accidentally broken my bed and like I could literally only sleep on the right side of my bed. And if
Yeah.
I slept on the left, it would just tilt. And eventually, they got a new frame, but since the frame was on wheels, so it kept separating. So I had to put it back a lot of the time. It was really annoying. And not only that, it just got really like it bugged me a lot because there's no space to walk around in my room, which is like a really funny polar contrast. So much space in her room. She had a king size bed, a massive like vanity, and like she had like a lot of space to walk around, massive TV. So it was like she was living, or not. She was living much better. She had a much better room compared to me. So and
Yeah.
then, like when we did move, like this place is really nice. There's a lot of space in this room. They're like we were able to put a lot of things in like good place. So I have a desk. I have adequate walking space now. I can actually walk around my room, and it's like, super nice. But like going back to the social aspect, it was like I would be spending. I don't even because the other thing is I don't know if I would have moved, so I don't know if I would have changed schools. And if
Mhm.
I didn't, I would still be talking to a bunch of people who I didn't really care about for the most part. And if I did, I wouldn't be talking to anybody anyway, because that's how it is for me right now. I'm just not really talking to anybody in my school. So it's like not only that, but a lot of things that I like remember very fondly did happen in lockdown. Like you know about the Hall of Fame and all that stuff that happened during the lockdown. That was probably one of the most fun like
Yeah.
weekends of my like recent. That was so much fun to just be not even just be able to play, but just to like spectate and talk with them, and we were all just like having fun and just like watching it happen and like doing it. It was such a fun time. But then, like, that happened during lockdown. I don't know if I mean it probably would have happened. It would like regardless, but who knows when he would have done it if I actually would have ended up making it because I didn't make it by actually winning the first time around. It was complete coincidence. Actually, if you didn't know that, that was like a very lucky song.
Yeah,
But
no, I'm not 100% too familiar, I guess, with everything, but I know the Hall of Fame has to do. Um, is it RDC's like is it
no, it's Berlin.
Berlin? Oh, okay, okay, Berlin. So yeah, no, no, I've definitely heard about that. I think it's like I think Darkwing, he was also in that as well, or trying to
No,
compete.
no, no. It was like the
No.
first because there was a tournament before that. That was like this
Oh,
was like
okay.
the second one. Now it's like the second one, but like the first one was like a lot of people who I had like known in the Hall of Fame server for like a little while. And funny story, we were somebody one of the players, the Samus player, his name is Swift,
Hmm.
friend of mine. He was having internet problems leading up to the thing. So he decided to like vacate a spot. So me and another guy in the server named Busa, we played for who would get that position, and Busa won that. So I was kind of just sitting there. I was like, "Damn, I blew my chance." But very coincidentally, another person was also having internet issues around the time, and they just like put me in there. And honestly, I'm happy I even got that chance because I was at least able to win a set against somebody who a lot of people wanted to win. Because I know a lot of people wanted a guy named Rox. That's the guy now. He
Yeah.
disappeared. Like they wanted him to win because Berlin made a video of Hall of Fame highlights and Roxy was in it. So it was like very much people knew who that was and they didn't know who I was. But I ended up winning the set. But like
Oh, nice.
so yeah, no, it was like crazy. And like so not even just that, but like it was just being able to like take that chance and like do at least something with it. That was very fun. And not only that, but just being able to be there and do that whole thing with all of them and like seeing like commentary, the watching the matches live,
Yeah.
talking with the people in the server, and we were all just like having a blast. So it was like all very chance and like lucky. But I don't know if that would have happened the same way had the pandemic not. That's like one big thing. Another I'd probably say is yeah, probably the move because I don't know if I would have ended up moving eventually or not. And like that's another big thing. But I also have to think about the fact like there's so many things in like that happened around the world because of this. So that it counterbalances a lot of things. Because I feel like the problem with this with like these kinds of questions are so many people have like done so good from this and flourished,
Yeah.
while so many people have lost a lot during this. So it begs the question like, do you think about yourself and like the other people who have like gotten a lot of like lucky breaks kind of stuff, or do you think about like all the bad that's happened because of it? It's like the thing is, you pick one answer, you're not thinking about yourself. While you
Yeah.
pick the other answer, you're being selfish, or like that's how most people would perceive it. So it's like a clash of wills.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what I was I yeah, I guess to what I was trying to get at. It might not have come out as perfectly as I wanted it to earlier, but yeah, and that plays into my whole I guess like mantra of not like wanting to I guess not wanting to change the past per se, and also just like things like fate. But obviously, to those people who definitely suffered or lost during this whole time. Obviously, thinking about them. So that's kind of also like why, even though I said like I wouldn't press a button, it's like I don't think I would even consider a question like that at all, just because. Um, yeah, I mean, just because of that aspect, because you have to think about obviously not just yourself, not just the people around you, not the people you look up to, whether it's content creators or anyone else but obviously you have to think about the people who have lost, who have suffered, who just have not been in positive arms, I guess I would say, or lack of a better term, during this time, during these past few years. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely is an interesting question, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't ever form that type of question myself because it's just a big old hypothetical. So I mean, yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it. It's great to hear your thoughts on it too. And Manny, I did also just want to mention one of the last things here. Um, just also, well, one commending you rather, I guess if I can, just because in my personal, recent experience, I guess I've definitely seen you, be, obviously very open to working with others when it comes to doing like a podcast, or I know you've done like one of those like JoJo's tier list with Panicotta, also on the Almighty Network, definitely recently. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier as well, once I sent out that call, see if there was anyone open to or just down to join tonight with Taco. You were, I believe you were actually probably the first one, if not one of the first ones to step ahead, just say, oh, exactly that. If the phone rang, you'd be able to pick it up. You'd be the first one to pick it up. Anything like that. So Manny, of course, I appreciate that. But yeah, just about that. With that being said, about your, I guess, your work ethic, because from me, just from impressions like that, it definitely see I can see that your work ethic or your motivation or determination definitely shines there. So when it comes to like making content or really just maybe even helping out others or just being part of something when it's needed. So I did want to ask you, with that specific, I guess you would call it determination or willingness to work or drive. I personally haven't seen that in anybody really who wasn't over 18 or like an adult. Like I've definitely seen younger people who are definitely motivated and determined to work on things, whether it's like in-person things like social issues or whether it's other things as well. But I would say it's more or less a little bit rare. But it's great to see you doing that. And I just wanted to go back to that question. Uh, where would you say like your drive comes from, or your motivation to, or willingness to always be part of, something, or like a group activity or anything really, for example, like this, like tonight with Taco, like content, things like this. Well, where does your drive come from personally, would you say?
I would probably like if we're talking about like the motivation part, my biggest motivating drive kind of thing is just enjoying. Like if I enjoy something, it is like very easy for me to just be motivated, continue doing it, and try to excel it. And on like the doing a lot of things part, it's mainly because I enjoy like I said with the motivation, I enjoy these kinds of things. I like doing all this stuff. Like one of my favorite things to do is collaborate because I get to do like all these fun activities with people I know and people I like being with. I get to do like stand tails with the with Pans and Yo Flame, and I get to do tonight with Taco with you. I like to be a part of it. Like every time that we play a big game that I have, like I always like playing. Like one of my favorite things to do is just collaborate because I get to like spend time with people that I
Yeah.
enjoy being around, as well as getting to like do something that I personally enjoy. Like having talks like this, like being on a podcast is fun, but it's always better when it's with people that you enjoy being with, and it's on
Yes.
topics that you like that are interesting to you. And like that's why when like a lot that also goes into like my competitive nature to like in gaming mainly because like I enjoy this stuff a lot. So I like trying to improve, trying to be really good at all these things. So it's always been like that. Like my favorite things to do are just like be with people I enjoy and like collaborate. Like I want to do a lot. Like there's a lot of things I want to do, but it's always best for it. Like I'm always in like the best kind of shape when I'm doing something with someone else. In my opinion, at least. Like it's fun when I'm doing things alone with someone,
Yeah.
but it's always best when I'm doing something when I know I'm doing something with someone else. Like I get to do a podcast or I get to play with y'all. It's like that's when I think I'm having the most fun. I'm enjoying myself the most, and I'm like willing to do the most for it. Something like
Absolutely, Manny. So that, yeah, like I said before, I definitely find that admirable. I find that to be great. Obviously, a great quality to have, especially as I mentioned before. Um, being, like in high school, being a teenager, just having that drive, even if it's, like for things, online, like, virtually, like the podcast or Tonight with Talk or whatever it may be. It's always, yeah, it's always good to have that type of work ethic, to have that type of motivation and drive to do things, especially right now, because obviously, if things are like this right now, and just imagine how things may be just in a few years. Obviously, when you get, whether you plan on like going to college or getting like a job or whatever, working, obviously, you, by putting your all into things right now, I definitely can see, that being like the trend in the future as well. So once again, Manny, just congratulations on that, because I definitely I definitely was not like that when I was a few years, well, not more than a few years now, since I'm 24. But like I said, that's definitely a great quality, Manny. So I definitely want to commend you on that. And one of the, I guess I would say the final question I do have for you, Manny, it's a little bit of a two-question thing, but crafted in one. Something I ask every single Tonight with Taco guest. Manny, what is something you wish to complete this year, or complete or accomplish this year? And what is something you want to accomplish overall at least once in your life?
so. Something I want to accomplish this year. I definitely, I definitely want to start. I don't know. There's a lot. That's a hard thing. There's a lot of things I want to get. So if I had to like list one or maybe a few things, first would probably be improve at everything or like just like see that I'm improving at the things I enjoy, like Smash,
Yeah.
not Pokemon, like Pokemon card, like just get better at. But like mainly like Smash and Rainbow, those are the games I love playing. I play a lot, and like when I see that I'm learning things and I'm improving, it gives me satisfaction because I know that like I'm improving, I'm doing better, I'm getting better, and it makes me happy because I know that I'm accomplished. But that's probably one of my biggest things this year is like improve at everything that I do like enjoying that I put my time into. Like do all the time. I like enjoy. I put my time into it. I want to like improve at those things. Another thing, I Another thing I really want to do is I want to start uploading stuff to my YouTube because I do want to do that stuff because it is very fun. It's like for right now, it's been just like a lack of like kind of like not even I wouldn't even say it's a time thing, but I feel like the motivation sometimes isn't there because a lot of the times like my like philosophy is if I want to do like a let's play or something, which I do
Yeah.
want to do, like I don't want to like start recording and start uploading and then I lose motivation and then leave it for a week or a month and then get back to it. Like my philosophy for right now, at least before I do start doing this, I want to finish a full Let's Play before I upload any of it, so I can upload it sequentially without having to worry about like missing a day or like scheduling something or like having to like just lose motivation. Because I think one of the things that I would hate to do as somebody who wants to be like a YouTuber, like losing motivation and that kind of stuff. But another thing I want to do is I want to play more like a multiplayer thing because I feel like that's when I'm enjoying myself and I have the most motivation. But I haven't been able to get like people or like a good idea. Like there's a good amount of games I've wanted to do with somebody else in like were like with other people, but I just haven't, pitched the idea, given it thought. I haven't provoked some things. Like I remember talking to my brother about Dolphin and how there's like net play and you can like kind of like play like remotely. And I was just thinking like there's so many like Wii and GameCube games that I could like record and like play with other people and like make content out of that and just like have a good time. So I was thinking like, I should get to that and like ask. So it's been mainly like I do want to do content. I want to do YouTube, but I want to like make sure that I can like handle doing it like normally or not losing motivation before I start or like before I start actually uploading anything because I like really really want to just like keep the motivation there, keep the drive to do it because I would hate losing passion for something that I really want to do. And like I do, it's another thing because I don't know how to like edit or anything. Like
Yeah.
I want because I haven't tried learning it because I don't know how to. Maybe in the future I will, but for like right now, I would literally just be doing like raw footage of me playing with other people and like having to just have fun and like just uploading that to YouTube for now because I don't have like anything else other than just my ability to play games and to talk and chat with. So at least for now, my biggest thing is just being able to like consistently do that to a point where I do finish something and then I can start uploading it. Because I have like at least three things that I've started and haven't finished or gotten very far into. Like
Hmm.
I've played two different Fire Emblems. I've started playing Pokemon Black. I got a decent bit into that. I tried playing Pokemon Coliseum, and I do want to do other games. But like the problem right now is I haven't gone very far into any of those, which is like my biggest issue because I feel like it's fun, but it's like what I was talking about earlier because it's fun, but I'm doing it alone, so I feel like I'm not having the most fun or like having the most drive and motivation to keep
Yeah.
doing it. So that's why it's like I do want to do a lot more like multiplayer or like just like multiple people oriented because I feel like that's what gives me the most motivation because I'm having the most fun doing it. So I want to keep doing it, and then that's how I get things. That's how I would get things done. But if I had to think of another goal, just like getting the year over, because God, this has been atrocious. Like school has been so boring, and I just haven't liked it. Maybe because I don't have a lot of people to talk to, and so I
Hmm.
don't enjoy it as much as I used to. But mainly just because like school is like almost over now. It's not like August anymore. It's March. We're gonna end pretty soon. So I'm like really just trying to get through this before I just eventually end up just like stop because when it ends I'm gonna just have that entire summer to like do all these things I was talking about, try to get content, try to improve it, everything. That's why it's like Like that's why it's like one of my most important things because like then I can really start thinking about everything that I do enjoy and do want to do. But I would probably say those are my three biggest things right now.
That's awesome, Manny. Honestly, it's just knowing that you have obviously a few projects or a few, like you were saying, like the Fire Emblem and also like Pokemon Black, like on the back burner for now. Even if you haven't gone back to it, within I don't know if it's been weeks or months or anything like that. Really, it just that just shows, and I hope you realize this too. It just shows that you obviously at the time put the effort in, and maybe maybe some things came up, maybe you just never got back to it. But just hearing your thoughts on the future, just hearing your thoughts on for example, this summer coming up, I know that school's about to end. You mentioned in a few months, so you have that whole summer. Even before then, I know you'll definitely do a lot of great things, Manny. And listen, if there's anybody really that I know that can put these goals out there specifically when it comes to like content creation, whether it's doing a let's play or whether it's playing with like a multiplayer games of any other with other people rather, it's definitely going to be the person to accomplish that, man, is going to be you, because as I mentioned, just from you speaking right now, it's honestly, man, it's just really great to hear that you have such like motivation to do that. And I know you're going to be able to accomplish that and much more, not just now, not just this year, but obviously in the future as well. And yeah, we all definitely look forward to that, Manny. We look forward to your let's plays. We look forward to the next content you go on, the next like podcast you go on. And listen, I know it's going to be a great time. It's going to be great entertainment, and definitely I gotta be part. I gotta be part of one of those crab game videos if you ever do one, Manny. Because listen, when crab game is being played and you're in it, listen, it's always a good time. It's always laughs, and it's always a little bit of chaos. But listen, Manny, you bring out the best out of the community. Obviously, being so like motivated, just being like just being active, I guess, in the community as well. So I do want to even thank you for that, because I know someone active in the community myself, and it is just good to see other people also taking part of that. And like I said, Manny, you're going to be able to do it all. Manny, thank you so much for joining tonight with Taco. And is there anything else that you want to say to the audience, or any last final word or thought that you have?
Uh, I would probably just want to say, honestly, like whoever's watching this, thank you for making it to the end of this and like just listening to both of us talk. And I hope whatever you see this, whatever you're doing well, you're having a good day, and that everything's going for you in life so far, and that it keeps happening. So I just want to like hope for the best for anybody who's watching this. Hope that they're doing well, and that they check on the strong friends and pray on their enemies.
Of course, man. Of course, we got to end it on that. Manny, thank you so much. I do appreciate you very much. Ladies and gentlemen and people across the globe, Manny. Ladies and gentlemen and people across the globe, that is this week's episode of Tonight with Taco. I'd like to thank my guest Manny so much for coming by the show tonight. Manny, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Be sure to be on the lookout on the Almighty Network for any future videos featuring Manny. I know he's been part of some of the JoJo tier lists that have been going up on the channel. Plus, look out for any more content Manny may put out himself in the near future. If you're part of the Almighty Army Discord server, you can also catch Manny there anytime the community plays an activity or game together. That definitely will be very fun. Before we say goodbye for this episode, I want to leave you with the message of the week. But before the message of the week, I do want to say, once again, as a little reminder, that this is the penultimate episode of the first season of Tonight with Taco, meaning there's only one more episode left of the season. That is episode 5. And that's going to have a very, very special guest that I've been waiting for to have that interview. I know everyone's going to appreciate it and love that episode, as all the other episodes that we've put up on this channel. So before we do that, and I'll also thank them again next week, I do want to give a special thank you so much to the guests so far of Tonight with Taco Season 1. That is Panicotta, that is Sarah, Yo Flame, now Manny, and then our upcoming mystery guest for Episode 5, the season finale. Now going back to the message of the week. My message to you this week is, don't let the sleeping dogs lie. By letting things stay the same and not putting your foot forward to action or something new, change and growth may be a bit harder to come by. In order to promote reaching your own full potential, you have to take the first step and embrace change or action in order to bloom. Thank you so much for coming by, everyone. As always, you can find and hear me during new episodes of the Here and Now podcast I do with Apollo and Jez. Feel free to follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/tacosandtamales. Once again, I will leave the link to the Red Room album in the description below. Be sure to subscribe to my personal channel if you haven't already. Have an absolute top tier week. This has been Tonight with Taco, signing off. Music.
Look, all I ever really wanted was the top tier. Living life from day to day, just like with no fear. You cannot get on that level, dress like a toe with the leather. We gonna